Shalom, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha-Rekah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And also want to acknowledge all the Akyam for pushing this truth with sincerity, alright? I'm going to start out in Joshua 5:1 today. It says, "And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites which were by the sea, heard that Yahweh had dried up the waters of Jordan from the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was their spirit in them anymore, because of the children of Israel." Alright, showing you that these nations, these heathen nations, they've at one time they feared our Almighty Yahweh. All right, they feared Israel because they heard of the terrible things that Yahweh had done, with the Egyptians, and also with like in this case it says that they dried up the waters of Jordan. Similar to when Israel crossed the Red Sea while Pharaoh and the Egyptians were in pursuit of them. All right, so these other nations, the whole point of this verse is they feared Yahweh. All right, and right now they don't fear Yahweh because they follow suit behind this Edomite, Esau Edom. All right, so let me go to verse 2. "At that time Yahweh said unto Joshua, Make thee sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time." Alright, so he's talking about the generation that was after Moses' generation. Alright, that's who had to be circumcised, because when they were in the wilderness, the Israelites were disobedient, and that's why that generation of Moses never got to see the promised land. All right, so now Yahweh's coming to Joshua telling him, hey, all right, this generation, you need to circumcise them, right? Meaning circumcise their hearts, meaning teach us these laws, and spiritually, I was thinking about it, the circumcision is literally the first commandment that we would keep. As soon as we were born, we would be circumcised as a male. All right, so let's go to so the start of the law is on a physical standpoint and spiritual is the circumcision. All right, so let's go to a precept in Exodus 4:25. It says, "Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, A bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision." All right. So Moses' wife Zipporah dealing with the circumcision. All right. So, go back to Joshua 5:3. "And Joshua made him sharp knives and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins." All right, so basically Joshua was implementing the commandments, the laws, and circumcising the nation of Israel, because the generation that was in the wilderness, dwelling in the wilderness for 40 years, well, they were wicked and they were disobedient, and that's why they never got to see the promised land. All right, they never got to be placed in the land that Yahweh had promised us. All right. This is verse 4, and this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. All right, so that generation, they died in the wilderness, man. Even the men of war, it says. you know. We go to Deuteronomy 2:16 just to emphasize that. It says, "So it came to pass when all the men of war were consumed and dead from among the people." See? So this was a new generation that we're reading about in Joshua, and that's why the nation had to be circumcised again, meaning spiritually and physically. You know, this is Joshua 5, and we're going to be at verse 5. "Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. For the sons of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness till all the people that were men of war which came out of Egypt were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, unto whom Yahweh sware that he would not show them the land which Yahweh sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey." All right. So you see, they didn't get to see the land. They didn't get to, because why? Because they were uncircumcised in their hearts. They went off, man. Our people are stiff-necked, stubborn people. Verse Deuteronomy 2:7. "For Yahweh thy power hath blessed thee in all thy works of thy hand. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness. These 40 years of Yahweh thy power hath been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing." All right. So the same thing now. We're in the wilderness, right? America, Babylon is a wilderness for Israelites. And really it just represents the wild. And why? Because our people are still that wild branch, right? We were a noble vine, but now we're a wild branch because of the foolishness and because of the way that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they've forgotten the true power of Yahweh. All right, so that's why this place is a wilderness, meaning the wild. All right, we're not keeping the laws here, you know. At least overall, you know, you have the remnant that are coming back into the truth, and you know, keeping the laws to the best of their ability while in captivity. All right. But it says here, let me read the last part of it again. "These 40 years Yahweh thy power hath been with thee, thou hast lacked nothing." All right, and that's how we are right now. We lack nothing when we coming back into this remembrance. All right, we're not going to need the microchip, so we haven't lacked anything, and we don't lack anything now that we're, you know, coming into remembrance of this truth. So now we're you know, we're gaining our strength. We're standing on our feet. All right, like it says in Revelation. All right. So when Esau tries to present his microchip and his vaccine, hey, we're not going to need that. You know, it's Yahweh's going to sustain us, just like He did the Israelites in the wilderness. You know, as we read on in this chapter, it talks about the angel food, the manna that Israel ate, you know. This is verse 6. Joshua 5:6. "For the sons of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war which came out of Egypt were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, unto whom the Lord sware he would not show them the land which the Lord sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey, and their children whom he raised up in their stead. Them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way." See? So they had to be circumcised. Just like these people here in America, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, so-called. Well, y'all need to be circumcised back into this truth, man. You know, you're uncircumcised right now. You're living as a heathen. All right? Numbers 14:31 for a precept. "But your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised." All right? So this is dealing with the prophets, and the remnant. We're the little ones, We're the ones who are able to gain this new understanding, and therefore we're able to come out of darkness, and we're becoming circumcised now, a physical circumcision and a spiritual circumcision. We're putting these laws in our heart, and coming back to our true power. This is verse 8. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole. All right, let's go to precept. Genesis 34:25. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. And the reason why it says that they were sore is because they had just gotten circumcised, So we need to be circumcised in this truth, man. Let's see. Let's go back to Joshua 5, and we're at 9. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of this place is called Gilgal unto this day. All right, and so when you look in that, I looked up that word Gilgal. Let's look it up. Gilgal. Meaning. Gilgal is mentioned 39 times, in particular in the book of Joshua, as the place where the Israelites camped after crossing the river, the Jordan River. The Hebrew term Gilgal most likely means circle of stones. Its name appears in Koine Greek and on the Madaba map. So what it goes back to is those stones that were sharpened and used for the circumcision. All right, so that's what Gilgal is known as, and that's what that word means. Circle of stones. And what stones? The stones that they used to circumcise the males. Right? Verse 10. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. So not only did they circumcise, the males, but they also kept the Passover, showing you that they are spiritually circumcised, as they were keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments under the watch of Joshua. All right. And they did eat of old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the self same day. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. So this is showing you that, that angel food, which is manna, because when we look up that word manna, it literally means like heavenly food. Watch, let's look it up. Manna, Greek, sometimes or archaically spelled manna, is, according to the Bible, the edible substance which God provided for the Israelites during their travels in the desert during the 40-year period following the Exodus and prior to the conquest of Canaan. All right. So literally this manna was this manna is literally the angel food. You go into that word manna, it's the angel food, meaning while they were in the wilderness, the Israelites were fed by the chariots, man. And now we're going to be in this wilderness here in Babylon, America. We may have to go off the grid. We may have to be going to, hiding in order to escape the oppression of the Edomite, And how are we going to eat? Because you're not going to be able to buy anything without that microchip. You can't buy food. You can't sell nothing. So what we're going to do is have our faith in Yahweh, and He's going to feed us manna, man. That angel food, He's not going to let a prophet starve, man. You know, you may go days without eating in Jacob's trouble, but you're not going to die of starvation, man. And it's going to go back to that manna, man. You have to have that type of faith where you believe that these chariots will drop some food down to you, the angel food, you know. So let's but you know, that's what it says, that they didn't eat manna after they came out the wilderness, after Yahweh had given them the inheritance of the land of Canaan. All right, let's go back to the scripts. Go to verse 13. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? Let's go to Genesis 18:2 for a precept real quick. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them at the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. All right, so this is a precept, and the reason is because this is an angel. All right, this is an angel who Joshua is you know, where it says right here on verse 13, 5:13, it says a man stood over against him with his sword. That was an angel. All right, it said verse 14, and he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of Yahweh am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, What saith Yahweh unto his servant? See, that was an angel, you know. So it goes back into that food, man, that we're going to eat. You know, the angels are going to provide us food, man, when we're in Jacob's trouble. You know, when we're off the grid, when we're trying to, you know, avoid you know, getting our head decapitated by Esau Edom, you know. Verse 15, and the captain of Yahweh's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. All right, so let's go to Exodus 3 and 5 for a quick precept. It says, and he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from thy feet, for thy place whereon thou standest is holy ground. See, so hey, we're gonna, you know, we may experience something, an event like this, you know, where an angel shows up, and hey, you're gonna have to take your shoes off for that holy ground, and to receive that spiritual food, you know. And actually, maybe before I say spiritual, physical food, you know, because that manna is going to be something that will sustain us during Jacob's trouble, man. You know, do you not have the faith that Yahweh is going to feed you in the day of Jacob's trouble if you're off the grid? You know, or you know, you don't have a microchip in your hand. You Lord willing, you won't get one. So you're going to have to depend on your faith and you know, the type of faith where we eat angels' food. All right. So with that, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushai, B'Hashem, Ha-Rekah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles, a great millstone, for teaching us this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam for pushing this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the elect.